It's the Sittin Sportside Podcast, exclusively on 1045theteam.com.
We let it play on the Sittin Sportside Podcast.
I think it's got to play a little bit. Wait for it. Wait for it. Oh, just kidding. It was too early.
A little bit. It's a long intro.
Oh, here it comes.
He's almost to the mound.
Boom. Welcome into the Sittin Sportside Podcast.
It's about time. It seems like not too long ago we were doing a Go DJ intro for DJ LeMahieu, and now it's
Only the greatest closer of all time's intro song. Oh, wait a minute. And is it true? The first ever unanimous Hall of Famer?
first ever Mike James.
And Eric, we have a special guest.
We have a first ever
live,
unanimous decision by Mike James and I to have Gaz on. Yes.
a unanimous 1045 The Team Hall of Famer, of course.
Thank you, guys.
that's
Appreciate that. Very nice.
I wasn't going to go that far. That
Except
was Mike
he's a
James.
Mello fan, so I guess that takes him down, what, 5 percentage points?
It bumps me up 101%.
Welcome in. Welcome back, guys.
What's up, guys? Hey.
Yeah, it's also too. The song makes sense too because exit light, exit Gaz going to the gym. Instead, he stays with us and goes.
Yeah, guys, how's the gym working for you?
I had to avoid the gym because I love talking sports with you guys, and I just didn't feel like going. I got out of it by being on the Sittin Sportside Podcast for the second time, and I appreciate you guys not letting me get on the treadmill. Seriously, I'm glad. I avoided at all costs.
I'm surprised with 100%. I mean, I feel like was it expected that he was going to get 100%? I know everyone was saying it should be, and a couple years ago, Ken Griffey Jr., the 3 people that didn't vote for him should absolutely be punched in the face, is what the rhetoric basically was.
I think I said that too, actually.
Maybe that's where I got it from. But but I feel like this was something that was kind of unexpected. I felt like there were still a couple people that we thought were going to not vote for him or not have a ballot or something like that. Let me ask this question. I guess maybe they just considered if you don't have any votes, that doesn't count as a percentage. I don't know. Let me ask you this question, though. Is this more of a, writers were saying he is the most deserving player to get to unanimous decision that everyone decided that that's who they're going to vote for? Or is this the public ballot starting to come and make its impact known now that, if you vote against somebody, that's going to be your, and I'll start with Gaz.
I'll start with me. Okay, yeah.
What, do you think this is a product?
But that's not the way we can look at it, right? I know how you set that up, but when you have a field of potential electees to the Baseball Hall of Fame, you get your ballot and say, okay, these are the guys I'm going to vote for. If we'll just use toss players out there who are legendary, we're like Hank Aaron, Mickey Mantle, Ted Williams. If these guys are all on a ballot, that doesn't necessarily make guys who may not make the top 10 worse players. That's how we have to factor this in. When you're voting for the Baseball Hall of Fame, you're not ranking the greatest players of all time. You're given a sheet of paper that says, here are the best of the best eligible in 2019. Of these eligible players, who do you think deserves to be in? It's almost like, this is not a great comparison, but you guys ever seen the movie 21 with Kevin Spacey?
No, I have not.
So there's a scene
I think I did, actually.
So there's a scene in the movie 21 with Kevin Spacey where he talks about the Monty Hall problem. Where it talks about, like, if you pick a door, there's 3 doors, and you pick one, and they give you the opportunity to stay or switch, you always switch because the odds have changed. That's what's happened here. When you change the ballot every single season, you have different people eligible. So you're given a piece of paper, and it says, you all think Rivera's the best, Rivera's the best. I don't know if there's a real comparison between guys like Ruth, Williams, Mays, Mantle. That's not what we're doing. We're comparing who was eligible for 2019, and he was the best of the best.
What do you think, Mike? I think that there has something to do with the posting. I do think that there's something to, if no one's going to see who I vote for, I personally think that if such and such, like, I don't remember the name being used, but Tom Seaver or someone like that was not unanimous. I'm not going to vote Mariano Rivera unanimous, so I'll leave him off the ballot. There is something to that, in my opinion, of that you're going to be now held accountable more publicly. You're not going to be able to say whatever the heck you want behind closed, like you'll be like if you were having dinner with your family, but then you found out that was a transcript of what you said there is not going to be posted on the internet, something like that. You're not going to say the same conversations possibly behind closed doors as you would if you knew this was going to get out. And that's how the ballot has worked for me. I've looked at it, and if this has become more public, like Buster Onlys and us have pushed for, I do think, Mike, that's a reason why people are like, I kind of have to vote for Mariano, otherwise I'm going to get so much pushback.
I agree. I mean, I think nowadays,
although you do get some of these losers that are just like, I don't care, I want to be polarizing.
I agree. I mean, I think social media has definitely played a huge role in this on whether or not, if you vote for somebody like Mo. I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised, I guess you could say. I lean both ways on him being unanimous. I thought Griffey would have been the first.
I thought Griffey would have been
the first.
Think about this.
Been the first.
Who?
I think Griffey should have been the first.
Interesting, because I don't know, like, what's the barometer of who should have been the first? Because like you were saying, guys,
it's a matter of opinion.
It's like, oh, who's the best player in the Hall of Fame? But I guess it's a matter of opinion. My point is, like, there's some players, not that Ken Griffey Jr. is not a great player, but there's probably players that got him before him that probably deserved to be unanimous, but that just wasn't the case. So that's where it's weird. But think about this, though. The position itself is what I'm like, there's certain people that just don't believe, and we saw Lee Smith get in this committee thing, but the committee really hasn't been like a real vote of confidence behind who they voted in. Harold Baines more than Lee Smith. But my point is, the only elected relievers really that have elected in the Hall of Fame are Lee Smith, Goose Gossage, Raleigh Fingers,
Trevor Hoffman.
Mm-hmm. I had that in my brain. That was recent. I just didn't say it yet.
That Goose Gossage guy.
I saw
familiar.
Eric counting on his hands. I'm like, he's not going to hit 5. Oh, he's missing one. Where's the 5th? Yeah.
My point is, like, that's why I thought there's going to be somebody who, and I think you had callers on your show recently when we were talking about it to say the same thing. Like, they understand why you'd vote for Mariano, but there's still this sense of why should a reliever, and that's why there's such, like, imagine that the person that got the 100% is a position where only about 5 of his kind, if you will, are in the Hall of Fame. I mean, that's crazy to me. But it makes sense why he's unanimous. I mean, he's with the best postseason pitcher of all time.
I want to go back to something you just said there, and I'm going to ask you at first, Eric. I know I just grabbed the reins on this podcast, but I'm in the mood right now for the show.
It's fine.
You mentioned the outpouring of social media.
Right.
The outpouring of social media about the focus in Buster Only's piece on ESPN Plus about how it may have changed how we see voters vote in the Baseball Hall of Fame process. You agree that's a good thing, though, right? Like, that's good for the process? Or you're not sure? Like,
yes, I do think it's good for the process. When I go back to Ken Griffey Jr. 2016, and I've sustained this, and if Mariano had only gotten 95 or heck, even lower than that, I personally don't care. You want to know why? And this mentality does not work universally, because you have to get the 75 threshold. My mentality has been, and I know a lot of people are like, well, you're not supposed to be in the Hall of Fame, you're not supposed to be in the Hall of Fame. I look at certain people, like a Fred McGriff, if we're comparing now with Harold Baines, but like certain people that haven't quite gotten there. I look at it, and I get this is not a universal opinion either, because a lot of people, and we've heard now it's the Hall of Very Good. If someone's not voting for Mariano, the threshold is 75%. So if 5 people don't vote for him and instead vote, for somebody else that I still think that deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, me personally, not everyone's going to have these same opinions, and that's the great part about debating about who's a Hall of Famer and who's not. But especially in the situation where we have Bonds and Clemens, who I think we are of agreement that they're supposed to be in. I just felt like, those 3 people that didn't vote for Ken Griffey Jr., I don't know what their ballot looked like off the top of my head at this very moment, but at least they had an opportunity to be like, all right, we're not going to vote for Ken Griffey Jr. because he's a shoo-in. I can now vote for somebody who might not have been getting the love from other people. I have no problem with those votes going other places, because I'm just like, they're going to get in 75% or more. Like, Mariano was going to get in regardless of it. But then if everyone thinks that way, then all of a sudden no one will vote for him. But then he'd still have 9 more years to get in. You know what I'm saying? And then there'd be the travesty, all this. But like, I know I'm very much in the minority in that stake. But I do agree that it's a good thing. But at the same time, I personally myself had not had as much of a problem, maybe with the fact that it was happening, but the thought process is something that I'm not.
Let me rebuttal with that. I'm going to use Mike James as an example. Okay. Imagine this happened.
I'm scared before you even go any further, just so you know.
Imagine Mike James was running for political office.
That's coming in the future.
Mike James 2020, okay?
I would not be surprised.
So what you just said there, I get your point, but maybe my background, for those that don't know this, I have a media degree and I also have a political science degree, and my focus for my poli-sci degree was U.S. elections. So, like, that was my thing. I focused on elections. I focused on polling sites. I focused, so, like, when the Hall of Fame, MVP races, when that stuff, Heisman Trophy, when that stuff comes up, I love it because I learned about this stuff. So your mindset you had there, although it makes sense, scares the crap out of me. Scares me so much as a poli-sci major. Because if you have that mindset as a voter, your mindset is, hey, I think this person is going to win an election. So because that person will win an election, I'm going to defer my vote to a candidate that I believe deserves to be elected, although they may not win. So if every voter, and let's not even go every, let's go with 60% of the voters had an Eric Hanneman mindset, right? If you
it
want,
doesn't work.
No, because if you want that mindset, and I don't even disagree with your idea. Like if you believe Fred McGriff or Larry Walker deserve it, and you want to find a way to vote for them, okay, I get that. But if people had that mindset, and Mike James ran for president, no one would vote to start, but he would become the president of the United States of America.
Levac would vote for me.
Right, but you see what I'm getting at? Like, right? Like, you
Yeah.
can't. It scares me. It scares me as a poli-sci major to hear that response because if Mike ran for president, he would have won with that mindset. Mike James 2020.
You heard it here first. All right, I'm running for governor in 2020.
All right, there you go. You versus Cuomo. Very
Yeah,
good.
but that's not like for another, what, 6 years?
No, it's 4.
It's 4?
Yeah.
Depends on when you vote.
The election was this past year, so it'd be 2022.
that's right, 2022.
Congressman Mike James, then fine, okay. You get my point, though, right?
I get your point, and this is what my only rebuttal to that would be like, all right, once I realized that didn't happen, like say Mariano didn't get the 75, I'd be like, oh, crap, well, now I got to change my vote to like make sure he's on the next ballot. You got 9 more years to do it. That's the difference between the different election cycles in terms of an actual election and Hall of Fame election. But yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think I did preface it by saying that if everyone thought this way, it would not work. But that's why I had no problem with those 3 people at the time as much as everyone else did. I heard the rants in about how could you not? Those 3 people deserve to be blah 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 kicked out of the Writers Association. I'm like, yeah, the thought process of it to me will never make sense. Like certain things of why people don't vote. I heard Kurt Schilling say that someone didn't vote for somebody just because. That exact reason of I thought this person should be a first ballot, therefore this person doesn't deserve it. Like the thought process to me, I guess, doesn't make sense except for my thought process, which is how everyone kind of feels about life, right? In general.
Yes, exactly.
Like, my thought process is always right, but like the thought process of that being the reason why I don't vote for Mariano, I don't necessarily agree with that. But if I'm thinking, oh, everyone else is gonna vote for it, like I get why it'd be scary if everyone thought that way. But that's my only reason. Like.
I'm taking off because I could talk about this all day with you guys. I'm going to go hang up billboards and like little posters and lawns.
We got to talk about one more person getting in the Hall of Fame.
I want to talk about the Mike James posters, but go ahead. Yeah, I'm going to set it up for you in the snow. Yes. Well, who's the other Hall of Famer? Go ahead.
Well, you being the great
giving us a
Baltimore
signal so we can make a
Orioles
natural
fans
sign-up.
that you are.
Yes.
That you are.
Yes.
The Moose, Mike Musina.
The Mooch? No, he's on Somebody Big Brother.
Is finally going into the Hall of Fame, guys. Your thoughts?
I think he deserves it. I think he's got a nice resume. I would have liked to see Kurt Schilling maybe get in along with him. I think that Schilling-Musina debate's interesting. But
I think you're out of your mind, but go ahead.
He's had more playoff success, Schilling. He's done it for 2 different franchises. But here's the thing real quick on Musina.
Yeah, the weird thing, it's like if you want to say, finish your piece.
Yeah, Musina, if he gets in as a Yankee or an Oriole, I told this to Levac at the tail end of the show. If he gets in as a Yankee, doesn't he have to go to Monument Park? Doesn't he have to get his number retired because he's a Hall of Famer as a Yankee? And there's non-Hall of Famers.
Retired is...
But like Jorge Posada's number's retired. Bertie Williams' number's retired. But those guys aren't Hall of Famers. Mm-hmm. But Musina is.
I think Monument Park makes more sense.
Right, Monument Park. Like,
I don't know about number.
Yeah, I don't know if he retires his number.
Mike J.
Those all won World Series.
We're already running out of numbers anyway.
Right,
yeah,
but
exactly.
it feels interesting. But we could make an argument that Musina as a Yankee played just as well, if not better, than those guys.
Is Adam Ottavino going to wear 0? Sorry.
Nobody in the history of the Yankees has done it.
Yeah, no,
but you guys see where I'm going with that. Like, and if he wants to go in as an Oriole, great, I'll take him. Cool. We'll retire his number. We got enough room.
Besides the crazy mind of Mike James, though, the whole Kurt Schilling thing. Think about this. The first 2 years that these two are synonymous, Schilling and Schilling and Mike Musina, they were together on the ballot. In the first 2 years that they were on the ballot, Schilling got more votes than Mike Musina. Last year, there's the weird switch of the two. Schilling goes down, Moose surpasses him. And this year, there's like a 15-16% increase for Moose, and I believe Schilling went up 6%. So that's weird to me that all of a sudden, and I know we can go into the whole reasons because we all know why, and if we're beating around the bush, this has to do with political views and things that he's done That to me is was weird about it. But we'll see what happens next year. Moose is in now. We'll see what happens next year because I don't think outside of Derek Jeter in terms of first ballots next year, I can't think of anybody going into that.
There's your answers. I'm gonna go get lunch and skip the gym. I appreciate Mike James being here. And Eric Hanneman. Dinner tonight
breakfast.
is
We're in the morning
chicken
right now.
and salad.
Oh, you're going for brunch.
Chicken and salad.
Chicken and salad.
Breakfast.
It's 3 or 4 in the morning. All right. Anyway,
Enjoy Denny's, guys.
Disconnected. Keep going.
Keep going. No, we're done. This has been the Sittin Sportside Podcast.
Guys left and we're going home.
It's over? I ruined it?
No,
Guys
this is about the podcast on the Hall of Fame. And
Oh, excellent.
we have different segments.
Okay, good.
All right, but God's literally just walked out the door. He's gone.
He hates us.
All right, see you later.
He just
guys.
told us we're fired too.
I mean,
Anyways,
Nick Markakis to the Braves, big deal.
who cares?
All right, cool. Mike James.
So Edgar Martinez.
We had a Oh yeah,
We forgot the other two.
You want to keep going?
Let's talk about them a little bit. Let's at least give them a mention. Edgar Martinez.
This isn't the
deserving.
first time someone's walked out of a podcast.
I'm usually the one that walks
You're
on the
usually
podcast.
the one that
though.
walks out and I got to use the bathroom. Let me just pause this. I miss Hogan.
Hoagie.
That look we gave each other after that happened. Oh.
That was like the highlight of, and then calling Bryce's grandma, who's not really Bryce's grandma last week. It was 2 weeks ago.
That was insane.
epic.
I mean, I can't believe we did that.
So anyways, Edgar Martinez.
Deserving, I think, at this point. I feel like all the reasons why Martinez should have been in the Hall of Fame was like Ed
It's legit.
lined out. I'm talking about last season when he didn't get in. So I think we're all on the same page there. Obviously, the on-base percentage is great. And it paves the way for David Ortiz now should be a Hall of Famer. Just like, because you already have somebody in, Ortiz probably going to be a first ballot.
I would definitely, even as much as it pains me to say, Ortiz is definitely Hall. He's the one Red Sox player I actually respected just because.
I think I cut your mic by accident. Sorry.
Oh.
I wanted to turn Gaz's mic off and I accidentally heard yours.
No.
Did yours. Not that it was a big deal.
Like I said, Ortiz, I think is definitely a Hall of
Big
Famer.
Poppy.
Big Poppy.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as it pains me to say as a
Right,
Yankee fan,
it
but
is
he's.
tough.
But I can overlook players playing for certain teams because I don't judge them based by who they play for. I judge them based on the numbers.
You don't see teams. Just like you don't see.
Go finish that sentence. Go ahead. What are you gonna say? Anyways, so yeah, I think Poppy's a
Yourself in
Hall of
the
Famer.
mirror.
Yeah, and I think he could be a first ballot. If not, he'll definitely be close.
Where do you think I'm going with that sentence?
I don't know.
There's multiple places I could go with that.
Yeah, I know. I was waiting for it.
Which way do you think I was going to go with
I
this?
thought you were gonna go the very inappropriate way.
Was it going to be which inappropriate way? Would it have been a racial charge joke or a fat joke?
Yes.
The second one?
Yes.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying.
Both?
Yes.
Both?
Yes. 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 Yes.
Oh man. Well,
And then, of course-
I'm glad God was here, but I'm very upset that we were not able to play this when
Wait, we're gonna cut off the Hall of Fame
because think about this, God
podcast?
leaves and that's what just happened on the podcast.
But are we gonna talk about the Hall of Fame podcast and not leave out the late great Roy Halladay, the Doc?
What?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'll say,
Bryce's grandma. Yes, we said Doc Halladay.
This isn't a sympathy vote. Though. I mean,
No.
like the guy was one of the best pitchers when he pitched. You know,
The best right-hander of this era.
The playoff no hitter, no hitter wasn't perfect game. And also the perfect game.
Same season.
8-time All-Star. I mean, honestly, he deserved it.
You want to talk about?
Think
talk
that
about a Yankee killer.
he became a no doubt first ballot guy probably because of the circumstance. But that shouldn't take anything away, right?
The numbers put him there.
The numbers put him there. He just had a short career.
Mm-hmm. Sad.
That's really what it comes down to for me. I think that the longevity wasn't necessarily there. Like a lot of these people that get in Hall of Fames have bigger numbers because they play longer.
Can you imagine how good the Blue Jays could have been? Like, if Clemens had stayed there, Wells stayed there, Halladay came up, Carpenter stayed there.
Interesting.
How good they could have been. It's scary to think back that all those guys were in Toronto at one point. Not at the same time.
Right. I mean, David Wells got traded for Roger Clemens.
Yeah, but could you
Is
imagine?
that a different circumstance? I mean,
But could you imagine? That's right when Halladay came up. That's right when Carpenter started coming up. Do you imagine if
well,
they
the
were
Carpenter
all there?
thing is a different story. I mean, that's free agency at its finest, right?
Yeah. I mean, Carpenter didn't become Carpenter until he went to St. Louis.
Did he get traded? Or
I don't remember.
I mean, what are we saying here? That the management totally blew it? Is this an Orlando Magic situation where they totally beefed it with Shaq?
It's possible, but I mean, you can't. It's all what could have happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
it's for speculation, but that could have been, how many World Series could that team have won
Mike,
if they stayed together?
Can I just say though, I never remember them being that big of a threat.
Yeah, but
Vernon Wells. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Carlos Delgado.
Ooh. Yeah, Delgado. Carlos Delgado.
Yeah. Back. Gone.
What?
Oh man, too much of that, man. I think we went on a little longer.
All right, yeah, let's cut this one.
We deserved, because I know you made sense that we should name everybody, but God's leaving just totally got us into the classic Sittin Sportside Podcast.
Which means it's time to. Where's the music?
Oh, you want the exit music?
I was waiting for the exit song today. What's the exit song?
What's the exit song today? You want an exit song?
Yes.
Can I just also talk about how Enter Sandman was playing over the air during the first part of the show?
Was it really?
Yeah, remember how he's like, it wasn't in program? Well, it wasn't an audition.
It was in program?
But it was in program. But it's teammates. I mean, I don't think it was that big of a deal, you think?
I think maybe should we close it out with Enter Sandman again, just because it's.
No, I got a song.
Honorable C notes.
Yeah, low fish.
It works. All right. Philadelphia Philly, former Philadelphia Philly. Roy Halladay's in the Hall of Fame, and Philadelphia rapper Meek Mill closes this out. Mike James, tell the Capital Region what they should do.
Stay classy, Cap Region.
Until we talk to you next.
We gonna she said it like my persona. Gonna, ripping them feathers.